This is the Business Marketing and Finance Podcast, the podcast for all your business marketing and financial needs. Get insight from experienced professionals as they delve deep into their passions and share their knowledge each week with your host, Daryl James. Like to follow or learn more? You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button now.
Welcome everyone to this week's BMF podcast. This is our Ask an Expert session. I'm your host, Daryl James. I'm here today with Umesh Bhatt, businessman and founder of Postpixel. Welcome, Umesh, to the Business Marketing Finance podcast.
Hey Daryl, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, man, it's nice to have you on the show, man. Now, when marketing your business, we all know video promos can be the key to positioning and distinguishing your brand in the current crowded marketplace. Umesh's company helps companies tell their story through creative video. Umesh, can you tell us a bit about your journey, what it was like growing up, and how you made the turning point to the man you are today?
Oh, geez, okay, that's a big question. Okay, to start off with the journey, I mean, I've been in business now for 3 years. I started the company at the end of my first year at uni, which was 2016.
Okay.
So back then I was studying a business management degree at Coventry Uni. And it was actually my second time going to university since the first time I dropped out at Brighton University.
Okay.
So that was my second time at uni. All of a sudden it's summer holidays, and basically my plan back then was to get a job, like a part-time job, a summer job. I spent about 3-4 weeks, literally every single day, sending CVs, applying for jobs, all of that stuff, going to town, going to the city centre, giving out my CV. Got literally 0 results on that.
Wow.
Like a few interviews here and there, but nothing that was too inspiring, that led to any jobs or anything like that. Long story short, what happened was I found a mentor who taught me specific skills in how to start a business. So I've been interested in entrepreneurship for really years because I've known that I want to go down that path. But it's very difficult to know exactly what to do since most information out there is not, it's all wishy-washy. None of it tells you specifics like how to get clients, steps, what you should sell, all of these things. So pretty much I joined a mastermind, and that taught me very specific skills on how to do a sales call, how to get clients, what to sell, and during the summer holidays I started a company, and I got my first client, I think it was 2 weeks into starting.
Fantastic, man, well done.
So I got my first client 2 weeks into starting, and that was like $150. Forgot to mention I was actually in my bank account minus £1,000 in my bank account at the time. I wouldn't say I'm broke because I was living with my parents. It's not like I don't want to give you a sob story. But I had minus £1,000 in my bank account as a result of being a student and spending on crap. So when I got that $150 sale, I was like, yes! I'm in like minus £900 debt. And I also had, debt collectors that were knocking on the door because I wasn't paying rent as well. So there was a whole year's worth of rent that was due, which we didn't really have the money to pay for. So and then I got my second client, which was like my first big client. I remember this because I was like 1 a.m. in the UK. I was sitting in my kitchen, literally with just my with like my pajamas on. And I got a client that looked like Gordon Ramsay from LA. And he wired me $2,000.
Oh, nice.
Dollars.
Nice.
And at that moment, I was like, what the actual hell? Like, this business thing is not as hard as you think it is. Once you got a solid process in place, it can work. And at that moment, I literally sent an email to my university and said, I ain't coming back, I ain't coming back. And so that was the summer holidays, and I ended up dropping out, and pretty much since then started up the company, and here I am. I'm not on the top, but it's been
You're on your way, man. You're on your way.
On the way.
You're on your way. No, that sounds really good. Now, you mentioned dropping out of university. Now, was that because you realised, okay, well, I'm studying business, but I'm doing well in business, or at least I'm a way to kind of get my grips and my feet wet in business. I don't really need university. Or was it more the fact of you wasn't really thinking that the university system, the education system was going to really be relevant and up to date and working for you?
So it was the second thing I always knew. So the second time when I returned to uni, I knew how crap it was. I knew how flawed it was. I knew how outdated it was. I knew that it wasn't for me. The only reason I went back was because the first time when I did drop out, I dropped out a month into Brighton University. studying the same degree of business.
Yeah, yeah.
But during that year, I pretty much wasted it because I didn't really do anything. I didn't really know what to do. During that year, I was reading like books on purpose, like how to find your purpose and all these kind of purpose-driven books.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't really know specifically what to do. So kind of the natural thing to do was to go back to university. Bearing in mind I've got Asian parents, so there was quite the pressure of that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So university was like the natural thing to do, and I always knew it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So when I started the business, when I first started the business thing, my goal was to make something from it, so that I'd have an excuse not to go back. Okay. And as soon as I got that $2,000, that was like more than an excuse not to return. So
how do you think that could be repeated? Like, you've had the 2,000 now, and you obviously made really good steps towards that. But how did you know for sure before dropping out of university that you could do it again?
There's kind of two answers to that. Number one is like I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thrill of it. I'm not someone who needs to know every little detail before doing something. Like, I like the fact that it's uncertain. And the thing is that we're all taught this bullshit idea of everything's mapped out in life. Every little thing is mapped out when it's really not. Life is never linear, like the school system teaches you to be.
Yeah.
But how did I know that I could repeat that? It's because I had like an actual process in place that I was following.
Yeah.
And because it worked the first time with the $150 sale, and it worked the second time with the $2,000 sale. There was no reason why it wouldn't work again. Everything started to become a bit more clear at that time, since I was learning more specific skills like sales, like managing people, hiring people, outsourcing work. I was reading books that actually aided those skills as well. So
what type of books was you reading? Because I know you're young yourself right now. I mean, you what type of books really inspired you, or really, I suppose, crushed your path, and you thought, that's a really good book?
Back then, I read a book called The Education of Millionaires, which it's about everything you don't learn from college. And it teaches you specific skills that you can apply to real life, like copywriting, like sales. At that time, I was reading more books on sales as well, like the psychology influence, the psychology of selling, books like that. I read The 4-Hour Work Week as well, so that kind of gave me an idea.
Tim Ferriss,
Tim Ferriss. But to be honest with you, I wasn't reading a ton of books back then. And I wouldn't even say I read a ton of books now. More so the information that I consume tends to be from like podcasts, interviews, going on YouTube, going on Google. I don't consume as much books as I know I should be. It was more like, and also I had mentors back then as well. So those mentors that I found, these were people that I could go to anytime I had a problem. Let's say I had, let's say I had a whole month where I didn't close any sales and I got no new clients. I could literally go to them and they'll give me a very specific answer based on the situation that I'm in, which sometimes a book can't give you that. Sometimes it can. So I was fortunate to have, good social circle that I could, use to aid me in my journey.
Nah, that sounds really good, man. And what specifically, what type of hurdles have you faced? It's a new business. You mentioned having the $150 first, first ever sign.
It was actually $100, and then I upsold him $50 more.
Oh, fantastic! Even better. So then you must have like a really good process in terms of from start to finish. So are you more cold calling, or are you letting your own videos do the talking for you, or how are you actually working for it? Or getting it to work for you, rather?
I did. So I started firstly with a freelance platform called Upwork. So if people don't know what that is, basically you can hire freelancers on there of any kind of skill. So it's a little bit like Fiverr, I guess, but very similar to Fiverr.
Niche.
Very similar to Fiverr. So you can post a job saying, "Hey, I need a website done," and they'll post a budget, and then you can communicate with that person. So I first started getting clients through that, and then I started going more into cold calling, which was like that was like a war in itself. Like literally picking up the phone every day. Calling around 100 to 150 companies per day. Being told to get lost by 9 out of 10 people. And there's always that one person that gives you a tiny glimmer of hope. Which will probably lead to nothing anyway. But cold calling got me a bit of success. And it was cold calling that really kickstarted the journey, I'd say.
And you just followed up at any time that you had that glimpse of light, I guess, from that person. You just followed up with them, and then it manifested into
the thing is, when you get your first client, that gives you like a massive buzz. It's like, oh my god, like I just got paid for something. And and when that client's happy as well, that gives you even more of a buzz. And it gives you that motivation to want to do that process again. Whereas when you're cold calling daily, and you're getting no results, it's very easy to quit because there's no reason for you to continue. But when you get that one success, there's a reason for you to continue. Does that make sense?
No, it does make perfect sense. So, what made you get into the animation business itself? Did you always like animation type videos when you were younger, or what made you specifically start this company?
So as you know, I've got a video background. I used to do like music video edits and filming for my mates back in the day in school. I used to do like little like skits and movie skits and stuff like that. So my ambition when I was younger was more to be a videographer, like doing films and things like that. And I used to love video editing, anything kind of creative in that realm. In terms of the animation, I found that idea through the mastermind that I was in. So one of the things that they do is they give you different business models that you can follow, like how to start a website agency, how to start an SEO agency. And animation was one that appealed to me since it's somewhat similar to what I used to do back in the day. So that was pretty much how I got into animation.
Oh, that sounds good, man. And like, do you have any other companies or any other people that inspire you in the animation world? Like you mentioned business mentors, but that's going to be your processes, I suppose. Is there anyone you look up to in terms of that's a really good video they produce from that company? Anybody like that?
I usually look at competitors and they inspire me. So I know quite a lot of people that in the animation space that do the same type of explainer videos that we do. And they inspire me because I look at what they did and I think, for God's sake, like I need to crush them and wipe them out of the water. So I'll look at things they're doing, whether it's the quality of the videos or whether it's their brand in itself, the way they market themselves. I'll look at those and I'll take like little gems from them that I can apply to my own business to obviously wipe them out of the water. And some of them are obviously huge 7-figure companies. So there's quite a few. It's mainly the competitors that inspire my company.
That's good, man. And is it just yourself, or do you have a team? How do you normally do the videos? How do you work them out?
So there's a team of, I think, 7 of us. Project manager, we've got a virtual assistant. We've got animators, designers, illustrators. We do all the communication on platforms like Slack, email. Project management software like Basecamp. So everything's virtual. Like no one's in-house. Everyone's all over the world. And the cool thing about that is that it gives me like not the same responsibility as if I had like an in-house staff.
And the overheads as well. And
the overheads and all that stuff. So there's a lot less risk with that. So that's pretty much it. There's a team of 7 of us, and
you mentioned they're all over the world. How did you end up recruiting them? Like, what was the process you went through to recruit them, in terms of trusting them with the business as well?
So how I recruited them was very similar to how I used to get clients Upwork. So I used to go on Upwork and type in, "Hey, I'm looking for a project manager," and I'd find a list of 50 applicants, and get on a call with each one of them and see who sounds the best and who I vibe off the best. And obviously I look at things like their portfolio and all these different things. So I think hiring people is quite interesting because like one thing I've learned is it's very easy to fake it till you make it. It's very easy to fake a portfolio. Like for example with explainer videos or animation videos, it's very easy to go on YouTube, use a YouTube downloader, download that person's video and claim it as your own portfolio. Because a lot of people do that.
Wow.
So like you got to verify these kind of things. Like for example, I can say to them, okay, let me have a chat with the client that you worked with or that you claim to work with.
That's a good idea.
To verify that you are an actual animator.
That's good.
And a lot of the times they get caught out for, lying. So it's very easy to fake it till you make it. You probably know more than me since you've been in the industry longer. It's hiring people that I usually have a set process now. So I'll send them like a questionnaire that they'll fill in, and I usually get on a call with them. And when I get on a call with them, I'll know from there, whether they're good or not.
Yeah. No, that's a really good process, to be fair. So, what type of clients have you worked with thus far? Is it a specific industry? Like, I know a few of my friends who are in business, not the same business as you, but they usually focus on certain types of industries. So, the financial sector or the food industry, or do you typically focus on those, or is it just a broad range that you advertise to in cold call and things like that?
Good question. So we do mainly work with IT tech companies. Because they tend to be the ones that need video the most, since like most IT companies, you don't really know what they do. It's quite technical. It's it doesn't, like, the whole idea of what we do is we create a video that's between 60 to 90 seconds that simplifies what they do into that 60-second video, almost like an elevator pitch. A lot of IT companies, like, they do something so complex like AI or cybersecurity. So we work mainly with them, but we do work with loads of other industries as well. So we've worked with pharmaceutical companies, worked with fintech companies, a lot of app companies. So you've probably seen any app that you download from the App Store, they usually have like a video, a promotional video. So we do apps as well, SaaS. So pretty much any industry we work with, but IT tends to be the ones that need our services the most.
Okay. And how do you deal with non-paying clients? I mean, when you're working with, blue chip companies, you tend to, it's usually straightforward. There's no arguments in payments. Sometimes you get the whole lot straightforward, up front. However, how do you deal with non-paying clients? I mean, that's something that often occurs, I've seen in a lot of new startups, particularly, if there's not much trust there. And that person who's wanting to explain the video, they are new to the game as well, so they're new in business. How do you deal with non-paying clients or late-paying clients? Let's call them late-paying clients, because they eventually do pay.
Yeah, so the way we do our payment structure is 50% upfront, 50% when we finish the video.
On delivery,
Yeah, so the good thing about that is that it gives us leverage, so that when we do finish the video, we send them the video with a preview watermark. So that way they can't run away with the video, and they can't get the video until they pay the remaining amount. Usually I found there's a commonality with certain sizes of companies. So for example, the smaller the company and the smaller their budget, they're usually the more pain in the ass they tend to be. Like, a lot of startups tend to be like, $1,500 for them is like, it's everything for them. And as a result, they tend to, and the funny thing is, I was talking to our mutual friend James about this, how the ones that pay the lowest tend to expect the world. Like, I had one client who they paid me $1,200, which is a lot cheaper considering we charge a lot higher now. But they sent me a reference video saying, and the reference video, by the way, was Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, wow.
So they sent me a Kung Fu Panda movie trailer and said, I want my animation to look like this.
Wow.
And immediately after that, I was like, this ain't going to work. I don't think it's going to work. If that's the expectation. So the most important thing is set the expectations up front. So that, none of this, late payments occur. Of course, you do have that now and then. I mainly got the payment issues when I first started because I didn't know what I was doing. So it was very easy for someone to bully me into, giving them a refund. So when I first started, for example, when I got my first few sales, I thought, okay, what do I do now? I literally, I was there okay, well, what do I do with this
money? Did you have the team at this point or not?
Not really, no.
That's good, man.
Money, I had to find the team. So, immediately, I had to quickly find animators to do all this stuff. I hired a few people and they sucked. So I had to take a loss on that and hire a new team. So it was the first client was like a massive ball ache, but I don't really get late payments or anything like that anymore. Since I usually qualify or pre-qualify these things in advance.
That's really good notes to be taken for the listeners as well to be doing. How long does it usually take for a video from start to finish? Now, you mentioned typically they're 60 seconds to 90 seconds long. Now, do the company usually provide the assets and all the information, or do you come up with the copy and things like that as well for the video, explain the videos?
So we do everything. We do basically everything. The only thing that they provide is their company branding, since the videos is tailor-made to their brand. So if the brand color is black and yellow, black and yellow. If the brand color is black and yellow, then they'll send us their, you know, color codes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We do everything else. So what we do is we send them like a questionnaire.
Yes.
And that's to learn everything about what they do. So like what they, you know, for example, the question might say, describe in 10 words what your company does. What is your customers' pain points? Who are your competitors? What's the main message that you want to convey, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Based on that, we'll create like a little script, like a 60-second script.
Yeah.
We send that to them, and we've got a copywriter that does that. So she researches their field and what they do, and she'll make a script on that.
Yeah.
They'll give us their approval if they want to make any changes. We move on to the storyboard after that, which is basically a similar to like a comic book where you've got slide by slide what the video will look like before we actually do it.
Yeah.
That would be based on their brand colors as well. Then we move on to the animation, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And the whole process is about 4 to 7 weeks.
Okay.
It usually ranges depending on how quickly they are to respond to any feedback.
Yeah.
So some clients, for example, like they'll take like 10 days to give us feedback, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So the project would be like, you know, 3 months. Whereas other clients, they give us feedback straight away. So it's like 4 weeks.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Sounds like a good process that you have in place for it. And do you find that you enjoy some more projects more than others? Just because of what they speak about themselves in terms of what they're promoting, their brand story and everything else. Do you find that, or you just find that they all pretty much are the same? What do you think?
There's definitely some projects we enjoy more. I'm pretty removed from the actual process because that side of the company is automated.
Okay.
But there's still some projects I enjoy more because because I speak with the CEO.
Yeah.
I kind of I can tell how hungry they are.
Yeah.
So for example, with some CEOs, I might not get that vibe where they, you know, it might just be a thing they're doing because they've been told to do it. Whereas with other CEOs, like they've got an actual vision, they've got an actual product that they really believe in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it depends on the service that they sell. Like if they sell something boring, then naturally, I'm not going to be like overly gassed over that product, right?
True.
Whereas if they sell something that has actual meaning behind it, then I'm going to want to, you know, I'm going to be quite invested into it. So, there is some projects I enjoy more than others, but because it's an animation video, it always looks quite cool in the end, if you know what I mean. So.
And how would you suggest new businesses market themselves here in 2019? Obviously, there's video, but how else would you expect them to, or would you suggest they should market themselves in 2019?
I think I'll first say ditch the old school methods of marketing. So ditch stuff like newspaper ads, radio ads, and all that. I don't know if people still do that nowadays, but ditch all those methods and learn direct response marketing. So, for example, with Facebook ads, I don't do Facebook ads, but I'm going to use that concept.
Yeah.
With Facebook ads, that enables you to target a specific demographic. So you can target, let's say you sell sneakers, you're wearing nice trainers. You can target young people who are interested in rappers like Tupac, for example.
Correct.
Totally random.
Yeah.
You could target those type of people based on their interests.
Yeah.
Not only their age, but their ethnicity even, their financial income, like all these different things.
Yeah.
Whereas with a radio ad, if you do a radio ad, there's like 10 different demographics that could be listening to it.
Exactly.
The idea is to target narrow instead of targeting wide.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd say is content. So content marketing does work. People do Google you. So one thing I think is if people Google my company name, what do I want them to see?
Yeah.
And I always use the idea of control your own narrative.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's similar to what, you know, people do on Instagram, how they put that false reality online, they put the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
You want to do the same with your own company. And that doesn't mean you have to be fake. You can be it however you want to be. If you want to fake it to make it, you can do that. I don't recommend that. But definitely do stuff like content marketing so that when people do Google you, it's not like, you know, nothing turns up. There's a whole world of content. Because for me, that aids me so much in getting new clients. When I'm on a phone with a guy from Australia, for example, I was on a call with a guy from Canada. He was interested in our services. And he found me because he Googled my company and he saw all these different social proof, like testimonials, videos that I put online, even though they're not that good. But there was so much social proof out there
Yeah.
that enabled him to automatically trust me before he's even on the call with me.
Yeah.
So when he does get on that call with me, the first time talking, he's already got a perception of who I am.
Yeah.
Whereas if he didn't know who I was, he would get on the call and he would be a lot more defensive and a lot more difficult
Very true.
for me to sell my services to.
Yeah.
So controlling your narrative is huge,
Yeah.
and content marketing for sure.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one. I mean, you mentioned earlier also about the different business mentors that you've had over the time. How important is that to a new startup to have somebody there that they can always call on, get advice from, learn what their next step might be if they come face to face with a hurdle? How important is that, and how did you find your own business mentors as well?
Oh man, it really is everything, man. Because I used to look back at like when I was particularly at uni. When I was at uni, there were so many days where I'd look around. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'd look around and think, wow, I'm surrounded with so many average people. And I really don't mean that to sound like narcissistic or anything like that. But what I mean by that is I'm surrounded by people that have no ambition. They're happy to party their life away. They're happy to get drunk all the time. And they have no goals. And because I'm surrounded by those people, I'm naturally inclined to be like those people. So the concept that you want to use is, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the concept that you want to use. You want to be surrounding yourself with people that are 5 steps ahead of you.
Correct.
And in business, this is really important because I notice a lot of people go to like networking events, and the people at those networking events aren't really that successful. And therefore, you're not pushing yourself enough. So the importance of mentors is huge. How you find them, that's quite a hard thing to say. I mean, I found mine just like through watching. The best mentors don't need to be a physical person. They can be in the form of a book. They can be through the form of podcasts, through interviews, YouTube videos. That's who most of my mentors are. And then naturally you kind of find people along the way. I know it's not the best answer.
No. I mean,
but co-working spaces like this, we're in a co-working space. There's a lot of cool people that we've met that do different things that give you a new perspective that you never thought about. So mentors definitely is everything. You can't do it alone. Like you really can't do it alone. Because there's a lot of days where it's like you saw me, you came into, we're here on a Saturday, you saw me on my own. It's only me in the office building. If that's me every day, I'm not going to get work done, and I'm going to be like de-energized and unmotivated. So you do need to surround yourself with winners. Like-minded people. So what does winning mean to you? What does success look like to Umesh? I mean, you're under 30 now. What, you 23, 24? Yeah, 23.
23. So when you're 30, what would you hope to have achieved? What do you think is going to be key to you to say, yes, I've got a lot of success behind my back?
Oh, geez, that's a hard question. That's a hard question. What would I like to achieve before 30? That's a hard question. I think let's go back to that question at the end.
Okay, that's no problem.
I want to think about that one.
That's no problem. All right. So what would you tell your younger self? If you could tell yourself anything, you could go back in time, maybe 10 years, 15 years to your younger self. What would you tell yourself? I mean, we had a chat just before we started the podcast about, a young 13-year-old doing big things in, the podcast world. I mean, what would you tell yourself if you could go back and say, you know what, Umesh, I'm 10 years old. You're 10 years old now. This is what I've learned in the last 13 years.
I'd tell him to. I'd be tempted to tell him to drop out of school, but I wouldn't tell him to do that.
Okay.
I'll just tell him 2 things. The first one is read relentlessly. Read like crazy. Like read every single day. And study great people. And the second thing is don't listen to what they tell you that you should be doing. I know I sound like DJ Khaled.
When you say they, is it parents or the education
system,
teachers?
Society, and the education system.
Okay.
Because they all set out a set-in-stone map that you're meant to follow, a blueprint. But realistically, that map that you're given to by the education system, they're not creating leaders. They're not creating people that know how to critically think for themselves.
Very true.
They're creating another person in a system. They're creating another number. They're not creating people that, like, for example, no one learned how to pay tax in school. No one learned about mental health in school.
You credit, nothing like that.
No one learned any of that crap in school. Or any of that important stuff in school.
But
you do learn about things that, at the time, I used to think, why am I learning this stuff? And then looking back at it now, I'm still thinking, why did I learn that stuff?
Yeah.
Obviously, some of it is helpful, but when you think about it, you're spending Monday to Friday every single day at school. That means you're being brainwashed by these people to think a certain way. So what I'll tell my younger self is, don't listen to what they say. Just do what you think is the best path for you. And I think if I did read these kind of books at like age 12 and all that stuff, then I'd be a lot more. I know I'm quite young, I'm only 23, but I do wish I did this stuff at like 15 when it wasn't as saturated as it is now. So we can talk about the education system forever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've always said that about the education system. Like you mentioned, like mental health is never talked about, and it's stuff people will deal with after school. Relationships are not talked about. Going to deal with that after school, or you even during school with that. Your finances, your credit, all of those things are never ever.
Like you don't get taught how to manage finances.
So I feel like the education system could do with a refresh and looked at it. So it is, I suppose, working on the individual from all-round point of view, as opposed to just this. Well, that probably worked 100 years ago, but it doesn't work exactly now for the young
And it's
people
funny
today.
because they're quick to take your money. But they're slow to tell you how to use your money.
Oh yeah.
That sounded sick, I didn't mean to come out of that.
I like it.
I mean, it's so true. Like $9,000 a year I was paying at uni. $9,000 a year. Plus another $5,000 for the year for accommodation. Plus books are like £70. And then there's all this other crap, and then you get all these student loans that So it's like, I was only at uni for 1 year, but I owed like, I think 15 grand worth of debt, which is mental.
Of course.
And like, I'm learning things from people who are not qualified. And this is the most important thing I'll tell my younger self is, don't listen to the advice, listen to who's giving the advice. A lot of the time, people that are so unqualified are giving you advice. And sometimes this can be family members, sometimes this can be mates of yours. Like, if someone's telling me, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, think about why they're saying that. It's like, for example, I'm a vegan. I don't want to make this into a vegan debate.
Nah, that's fine, go on.
I'm a vegan, and when I tell people that I'm vegan, I notice that automatic responses come out of them. For example, oh, where do you get your protein from? And I always think that's quite interesting because are they actually asking me that question, or are they automatically giving me that response? So the same thing kind of applies to advice in general, like who's giving you that advice? And that's why I always think about critically thinking, like thinking for yourself rather than what other people say. No, I mean, that's definitely a powerful thing. So where would you like to be? What is the vision of Umesh for when he's 30? And we're going to go back to it. To be honest with you, I'll be honest, like I don't have a clear idea as to where I want to be. And that's the side that I think is exciting, because I know some people who do have like a very clear set in stone way of where they want to be at a certain age. For me, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea if I'll be doing this business for the next 2-3 years. So where I want to be, like, there's basic like things that I want to be I want to be set in stone. Like, I want to be making this amount of money by the time I'm 30. I want to have this amount of financial assets, so that whenever I have a family, that stuff's sorted. So it's not very clear where I want to be, but I do know that at some point I want to be doing something that does give back in some way. No idea how that is right now. So no, man. It's a vague answer, but it's the answer that
it's good though, because it enables you to lead a path that you just choose when you want to. When you're 25 years old, you may wake up one day and say, oh, I want to sell this business, or I want to do something else and put my hand to something else. So it's a good thing where you're at, and I feel like it's a good way of thinking, that I'm not planning that far forward to when I'm 30 and things. That's interesting. That is. I do quite like that. So almost finally, where can people connect with you? What's your social media links, your website, URL?
You can find our company at www.pulsepixel.com. That's PULSE, like a heart pulse. Pulsepixel.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's just my full name, Umesh Bhatt. Instagram, you can find me if you want, Umesh BX. I don't really use Instagram that much. And so that's pretty much everywhere. All
right, man. Well, thank you very much for your time. Some very wise words from young Umesh. I mean, you're inspiring me, and you're 23.
You're inspiring me,
good.
Bro.
It's really good, man. Thank you for being on the show. This has been the Business Marketing Finance Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm your host, Al James. Don't forget to go onto our website, businessmarketingfinance.com, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
This is the Business Marketing and Finance Podcast, the podcast for all your business, marketing, and financial needs. Get insight from experienced professionals as they delve deep into their passions and share their knowledge each week with your host, Daryl James. Like to follow or learn more? You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button now.